Hello, everyone. You know that was me trying to wait until all of the digital stuff catches up. It's hard to know. I'm Becky, and I'd like to thank you for joining me this Wednesday for a timeout. I know it's hard to take time out of your day, and I appreciate you joining me. And if you aren't here right now when I'm actually talking, I appreciate you joining me when you do have time. Behind me is, let's see if I can do this way. Behind me is Birds in Toyland again. And it's up there because the class, which is on Creative Spark, that first class filled up just like that. And I really felt kind of guilty because there were a whole lot of people on the waiting list. So I looked at my calendar and I added 2 more classes. This will get till fall because my calendar only has so much room on it. So if you are interested in taking the class, and right now that is the only place to get these patterns, and I'm not doing that to be cruel and unusual, it's because of the lag time between finishing a quilt, turning in a manuscript, and the thing going to print. So the deadline I am working like crazy on right now is actually the deadline for this book. I haven't even turned in the stuff yet for the book to go into print, which will happen about a year from now. But I did make all the videos for the classes, which is why the class is there first and then the book will come later. Gosh, that's a long explanation. I'm sorry it took so long. You can find the class. There's got to be a link on the website. I'm pretty sure there is. And then it should be in the comments, or you can Google Creative Spark or Birds in Toyland, and goodness knows, I hope it comes up. Okay, I'll put a link. That's what I'll do on the YouTube video. I'll put a link to where the classes are. So what are we talking about today? It's spring. It's tidying up time. And even though I hardly have time to do it, I have been wanting to tidy up my collection of thread for weeks. And the Yazzie thread organizers that I wanted finally came in. So let me show you my thread as it was until a couple of days ago. Okay, so real world, that's where my thread is. At least part of it. I'll show you where the rest of it is. And I kind of know what's in each drawer, but I don't really know what's in each drawer. Even if I know what kind of thread is in the drawer, I've got to stack it sometimes 3 deep, as I do here with my 80 weight Aurifil, and I can't see what I'm looking for. This is the other place I have thread, and it's thread I don't use very often. I got it when I wrote the thread book. Every now and then I pull something out of this drawer, but really I could use the drawer for other things. So this too is going to get organized. This is the Yazzie 100 Plus Ultimate Thread Organizer. And I've decided this is what I'm going to put my thread in. It's going to take more than one of these. Yeah, it took 3 of them. Anyway, the next video will show you how I organized my thread inside the organizer. Now, the reason it says 100 plus, it could also say 100 plus or minus, because the number of spools you can fit in the organizer depends entirely on the size of the spools. Small spools, you can fit more. Bigger spools, you fit less. As you watch the next video, I want you to look at, or kind of pay attention to, the kinds of colors of thread that I have, and the fact that I don't have only thread from one manufacturer. I'll get back to that. Okay, here we go. I showed you where my thread was in the little drawers. Now I want to show you where it is inside the Yazzie Ultimate Thread Organizer. Amazingly enough, it took 3 thread organizers for me to get everything where I wanted it. One of the most interesting parts about this is that when my thread was buried in the drawers, I thought I had a lot more of certain kinds of thread and a lot less of others. So it's made me very much aware of what I've got and what I might still need. I have some holes in the colors in my wool thread collection that I will add to as needed. These are 80 weight Aurifils, and as it turns out, I have a lot of 80 weight Aurifil, and I'm glad I do because I use it sometimes for hand applique and sometimes for machine applique, and for that I need a wide variety of colors. These are my 28 weight threads. Some are by Aurifil, some are by Mettler. I hand piece with these pretty often. That's what's inside this organizer. I have room for a little more thread, which is nice because I will probably add a little bit more thread to this one. I could put something in the outside of this organizer, and one of the things I might put here is a note to myself telling me what's inside. In fact, I probably will, because from the outside, I can't tell what it is. This organizer has 12 weight pearl cotton. The Aurifil spools are smaller and they fit better in the organizer. The Wonderfil spools are bigger. There's more thread on the spools. They fit okay. This is a very stuffed organizer, but it all fits. And I have more 12 weight pearl cotton, but it's on balls. I'll show you where I put it later. I thought about this through the night and wondered if I didn't have too much of this. But you know what? Now that I look at it, I'm thinking, no, this is about right. I don't need to add a whole lot of thread to this, especially knowing I have the balls of Presencia elsewhere. No, this is a nice collection. I don't need more, but there's none of it that I want to make go away. That's good to know, right? So I will zip that up. And for this one, having the 12 weight pearl cotton on the outside pocket, that tells me what's inside. So this is Yazzie number 3. I was surprised I needed a number 3. These are my masterpiece cottons that are on spools. I have more that are on cones. That needs to be organized too, but that won't work in one of these. And these are different kinds of 50 weight and 60 weight threads from different companies. So there's some Gutermann and some Wonderfil and Mettler. I've got some that's from Coates and Clark and more from Mettler. These are Aurifil 50 weight threads right here. And it's interesting because some of the spools look more orange and some more red. I don't know why. I have a nice selection of Superior's Pima cotton. This is a 50 weight 2-ply thread, so finer than the Masterpiece, but still strong and nice to sew with. These are Wonderfil's 50 weight thread that I got primarily for piecing, but it would also work for machine quilting. I've got a nice group of colors here, not too many, especially if I figure that I've got thread on cones that I use for both piecing and quilting. Okay, so I used to have a lot more thread than that, way more thread than that. And somewhere about a year ago, I looked at that old thread and thought, some of that thread was 30 years old. I do not necessarily want to sew with 30-year-old thread or 20-year-old thread, or in some cases maybe even 10-year-old thread, which means that you might not need to buy every thread in every color just because it's there. And you know, I like a neat and tidy collection as well as the next person, but manufacturers each make, our thread manufacturers make really excellent thread. And I've talked to you before about the variations, say, between the different 50 weight threads from company to company to company. Each thread is really kind of different. And so I would not want to exclude, say, for instance, I would not want to only have superior thread and not have Aurifil just because it wouldn't look tidy in the group. They all, they all make good thread. So that's why inside my collection, I've got a pretty nice variety of kinds and companies. Okay. And I know it's weird for me because let's face it, I do sell you stuff to say maybe you don't need everything. In this case with thread, I don't think you need absolutely every color and every weight. Okay, next up, you might have noticed that there wasn't any applique thread there. I mean, other than the 80 weight Aurifil. Let me show you why. You might be wondering where my giant collection of applique thread is. It's not actually that giant of a collection. I work off the bobbin. These are pre-wound bobbins from Superior. I sell these on my site. The soft collection and the bright collection each have 25 colors that are different from each other, and I can almost always find what I need here. I've worked off the bobbins for so many years though that I have spare bobbins. So during this tidying up of my thread process, I did go through all of my spare bobbins, and I'm making go away the ones that were not very full or that they were duplicates, or used to be they came on cardboard bobbins and they're worn out. I made those go away. So now I have a really giant collection of applique thread in these boxes. And if you're wondering, yes, I do carry the empty boxes. We may be out right now this minute, but we'll get more. You know why we're out right now this minute? It's because we only had 3 and I used them. I only felt a little bit guilty about doing that. Okay, now the next thing I want to show you has to do with the Yazzies in particular. And I've said this more than once in a variety of places, and I'm going to say it again. There are a lot of Yazzie products like these little boxes. This is the Mini Organizer Large. And can I just say, I don't understand how they name their stuff, because there's mini organizers in other sizes and they still call them minis. What changes is the large or the extra large or whatever. Kind of drives me nuts. Anyway, inside here, there are different pouches. And you might love having the pouch sewn into the unit. I do not love the pouches sewn into the unit. I take the pouches out and use them as movable objects. So inside each one of these, you'll see they're just sewn in. They're finished on the bottom, the pouches are. They're sewn in, and you can use your seam ripper and loosen the seam. You can either do it from the inside or from the outside. So those lines of stitching there, that's what's holding the pouches inside. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you watch what's coming next. Let's see here. Before I leave the thread collection altogether, I want to mention a couple of things. For the thread, I very specifically chose a black Yazzie. In all the other cases, I like colorful Yazzies most of the time. But in this case, I didn't want the color of the Yazzie to interfere for me with the color of the thread. Now, it may be very different for you. The other colors may not bother you one tiny little bit. The other thing is that this center pouch is sewn into the larger unit. And I think for the thread, that's going to suit me fine, leaving it sewn in. But in all the Yazzies, the little boxes that have the sewn in pouches, they're just sewn in with thread. and you have a seam ripper, if you want to, you can go in and separate the pouch from the Yazzie, and it's finished at the bottom in the same way that the pouch is finished at the side, it's finished at the bottom. There might actually be a time when I would want some kinds of thread in the center that I can pick up and take with me without carrying the whole bag. It's something to consider. The other thing is that even though this is designed as a thread pouch, it would be dandy for holding other things, other kinds of notions. I'm thinking scissors or pins, needles, all kinds of stuff. And if that was the case, if you had, say, thread on the outside and this was full of notions and separate, so that when you're, say, at a class or in your studio or wherever, this could be carried separately from that, that might be really handy. I know Yazzie makes a thread organizer that holds balls of thread, but it doesn't really suit my space. And I already have the bins with the drawers. And the bins with the drawers are great for these balls of thread. And what I did was put the 12 weight stacked this way inside the drawer, and my 8 weight pearl cotton going the other way. And I turned these on their side just to hold everything in place a little bit more. And I've still got room for more balls of thread, which is good because I suspect I'll be adding to this. Remember I said you could take the pouches out of the Yazzie. This is a pouch that I took out of a bigger Yazzie some time back. And what I put in here are these weird seagrass threads that they were just loose in the drawer before. Now I've got them together. It's handy. I like that better. And I decided not to open a 4th thread organizer for the rest of these threads because now I had enough empty drawers. I'm using this drawer for hand quilting threads. These are all hand quilting threads. And these are mostly 30 weight and 40 weight cottons. These are 60 weight threads, and I wanted to keep them separate. This pouch is part of a set of 3 pouches, and I used the other 2 bigger pouches elsewhere, you'll see in a second. This is where I put my 100% polyester thread. Some of it's metallic, some of it's shiny. I may never use this for anything, but I already own it, so I figured I'd keep it tidy. I can see what I've got really easily. It's contained. Perfect. Okay, you might notice that what's in that drawer holding that thread they're not little cute boxes. I Marie Kondo'd much of my house many years ago, and what Marie Kondo says is you should not have to go out and buy little cute organizers if you already have something like the bottom of a stationery box or a box that fits a certain drawer. Use that. And that's what I've been doing, and you know it works really well. The next time you buy note cards or stationery or Christmas cards, the bottom of those boxes, they're really handy. Those were in some of the drawers. And then I think, you know, the idea of tidying for me, I like to have something lovely to look at the end, and that last drawer was kind of a big mess, sort of, except that it was organized. So even if it's not visually pleasing, if the objects are where they need to be so that I can find them when I want them, I'll take that over visually lovely. All right, the other thing I was going to say, you know, in passing, I mentioned why I got the black thread organizers. It's the same reason why I wanted the project pouch in black. Mostly when I've got something in here, I might not be distracted by the color of the Yazzie against the project that's inside. But my reasoning for wanting black there was because it's kind of a neutral. It's a dark neutral. I like it. So black. All my other Yazzies are in color, but those two things, the thread and the project, I'm sticking with black. Okay, the next thing is, oh, my needles. So as I said, I'm on deadline. I didn't have a lot of time to tidy, but there were two other drawers that just really, as long as I was doing it, I figured, what the hey, I'll do that too. As long as I'm at it, I'm also going to tidy up my needles and pins because I can never find what I'm looking for when I'm looking for it. I took that mess of needles apart and sorted them by kind and used a variety of Yazzie pouches, some new, some that I had before. So this is a new set of two. So I've got those. These are embroidery and crewel needles. This is a bag of sharps, mostly used for hand applique, but there's also some giant sharps in here that work for embroidery. Milliner's needles are in here. I used to use milliner's needles a lot. I don't so much anymore, so I'm going to put that toward the bottom. These are hand quilting needles. These are my number 9 piecing needles that don't really go in any other case. And some Sue Spargo needles that are kind of random, but I didn't know where they would go either. So they go together. These are my self-threading needles, and I've got a giant wool upholstery needle in there. This is a wool thing that I made a few years ago, and I've got a variety of pins in it. Every now and then, this is handy to carry with me somewhere, and it's already together. So I just kept that. I'm putting it in there. I found these needle threaders. I will be using those, and it makes sense to me to put them in there with the needles. And as long as those are in there, I'm going to put my other needle threader in there as well. Doesn't it make sense to have the needle threader with the needles? So there we go. This takes up more space in the drawer than it did in the small cubby where I had them stuck in the other drawer. But I can find what I'm looking for a lot easier now. I like this better already. I really do. You have no idea how often I would go looking for a needle and hunt, and you know, you think you've got something and you can't find it. I hate that part. So, and it's a colorful drawer now because I've got all different colors of Yazzies. So my last areas of untidiness were the drawers with my rotary cutters and my scissors. Take a look. And as long as I'm at it, if I can figure out how to make my scissors tidier and my rotary cutters, shoot, I'm going to do that too. This is my newly tidied rotary cutter drawer. I'm going to give away one of the rotary cutters that I never use. I decided to hold on to this one, although I rarely use it. I've separated by type. Small ones, hardly ever use it. The ones I use the most at the front. This is the tin. By the way, it's a leftover Lolo tin. It's perfect for used blades. I have more blades over there. There's my rotary cutters. I carry a variety of Yazzie pouches, just the pouches, not sewn into anything. This is the set of 3 envelope size. This is a set that has 3 that go small, medium, and large. They're more square. And then there is a set that has 2 this size. I like all of these, and I used all of them in one place or another. So up until yesterday, this drawer was full of a whole bunch of scissors, all different sizes, all different kinds, all clanking together. It always made me feel guilty when I opened this and the scissors were just sort of running into each other. So what I did with my scissors was use a variety of pouches to sort them by size and shape. These are my giant scissors. They went in the biggest of the envelope pouches. These are serrated scissors. This is the next size down in that envelope pouch set. The smaller pouch has thread in it over in the drawer of thread. This size pouch that you can buy in sets of 2, this particular one actually came out of one of the Yazzie organizers, and it's got smooth bladed scissors. This has paper scissors. And this is my collection of Dovo scissors that goes way back. I don't use them very much anymore, but they're still really nice scissors. Someday somebody will inherit these and be very glad I kept them. This pouch has my inexpensive blunt-ended scissors. When I travel and I might be afraid that scissors would be confiscated, I would use a pair of these. And then these are extra scissor charms that were just loose in there. And I have one Kohana little snip that I'm holding on to in case I lose my other one. And I have that very cute scissor case. And this is the scissor I use almost all the time. When I'm cutting fabric, I decided it could live on top of the group right there. The Yazzie pouches here do not necessarily make the space smaller and more compact. You know, sometimes when you tidy, that's the goal. What this does is separate my scissors by kind so that I can find what I'm looking for, and it makes me happy that they're no longer a big mess in the drawer. I'm glad I did this. It's the same as the needles, right? Being able to find what you need is really good. So my thread that came out of the drawers is in the thread organizers, and I had space on the shelf. They're just in the shelf. They look nice up there, and that they're the same color, that's a win. And the black works in my studio. The other spaces, like where my needles came out, I was able to spread out my pins and make them fit better. And I've got a couple of empty drawers that I don't know what I'm going to put in them yet. I'm going to let them be empty for a little while. Now, here's a question I was thinking this morning, because we are quilters and we can sew. Would you want to make your own pouches? Maybe, but why? Why? If you look at the way the Yazzies are made, they're really well made. It would take time, effort, and materials. If you already owned all the zippers and the quilted material and the plastic and you have all the time in the world, yeah, maybe it would make sense to make your own. I don't do that. You know, I didn't do that. So there's that to consider too. Yes, you could always make your own pouches if you wanted to. One other thing I wanted to show, because this was one I have already organized some time back. I'm going to make that Velcro noise. This is the Yazzie for sewing machine feet. I didn't think I needed it, but as it turns out, I kind of like it. You could put other stuff in the sewing machine feet organizer, but it's so perfect for your sewing machine feet. I didn't. Okay, what other question? There's lots of other Yazzies, and I've got them on my website, the ones I like the best. I think I've given you an idea about how to use them. The one I'm probably going to be using next that I'm going to load for a road trip coming up is this one. It's the Petite Extra Large Organizer, and I like the open side on one side, and I'll take the little pouches out. But that one, yeah, I think I'm going to put some stuff in that and take it with me. So that's it. I organized. Now, it took a couple of 3 hours to deal with the thread that I didn't think I had time to do, that it turns out that I did. I'm really glad I took the time to do it. That does not mean this has to turn into some giant organizational job. So if you are looking at different spaces in your studio and you're thinking, man, I'd like to organize that, but it's going to take a week because I have to do everything else. No, you don't. You really don't. pick a thing that you want to make tidier, do that thing, bask in the joy of its tidiness, and sort of forget about the rest until you have the time and motivation to deal with it too. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do, let's see here, I want to pull this up. Please do let me know if there's anything you'd like me to talk about. I happily take suggestions because at some point I'm likely to, think, oh, I know, that's right. Judy was going to remind me. I did want to remind you guys the class, the Empty Spools is the 5-day seminar that is on again this coming, when am I doing it? I'm doing it in March, this coming March. My class is an independent study, which means you can work on absolutely anything. Doesn't have to be one of my patterns. It can be anything. In my class for 5 days, and I'm there to help you with whatever questions you've got. It's a wonderful place. It's on the Monterey Peninsula, right on the coast. It's beautiful. And if you are interested in signing up, I don't know how many spaces are left in the class, but they do fill up. So Empty Spools, the class registration is open. I wanted to say that. Thank you, Judy, for reminding me. Let me see if there was one other thing. I don't think so. So I'm back to this. If you have questions, please email me. Let me know what you'd like me to talk about. And I will see you next Wednesday at 2 o'clock Central Time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then.
Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to demonstrate our Yazzie carryall. The code is CA120, and this is a bag I designed almost 20 years ago, and I know of many of you who already own one, love it, and are still using it. And that's the operative word, that you're still using it, and it has worked for as many years as possible to take your products, your craft accessories, notions to your retreats, your classes, and even just store your craft supplies at home. Firstly, I'm going to show you that this bag comes with a 28-inch handle, and it's 72 centimeters. So it does go over your shoulder very comfortably. So if any of you are curious to see that, because it does help if you can carry it across your shoulder and be hands-free to take your sewing machine and other products that you might need for your retreats. So that was what I wanted to show you today, is just the way it closes, the way it hangs over your shoulder. That's a very important part because often I get that question through emails, etc. And now what we're going to do is I want to show you the internal of this bag. It's very popular, and I want to take you page by page, pocket to pocket, just explain everything there is about this bag. That'll help you make an informed decision when you want to purchase one of our bags, whether it be a large or a smaller one. So before I do that, I want to tell you everything we supply is in a black, navy, the red, which is like a banana red or a nice blood red. Then you've got this olive green that's beautiful, the hot pink, which we refer to as fuchsia. Then I've got the aqua, and I've got a purple. So they're quite popular, all the colors, and it depends where you are and the color that appeals to you. But I think we've done it perfectly well where it appeals to a lot of people, and they can select anything they want. There are times we don't have them in stock, but generally we try and keep everything updated on our website. So I'm going to take a few seconds. I'm going to put the insert that comes in your packaging on the frame so that you can look at the dimensions. There's a short description, and we'll just set up for a demo for you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to begin my demo. We do know from this area to the end, it's 28 inches and 72 centimeters, and it does go across your shoulder, and it is very comfortable. So I'm going to now open up the bag and show you the internal, and I need to turn it around because it is quite a large bag and I want you to see a full visual of this product so you can understand the bag better. So this is the inside cover. Here is the cover. We've opened it up, and the first pocket at the back has a quilted pocket, beautifully made, and I can keep my magazines, my pattern books, anything that I might need. You can fill it up with quite a few things in this pocket. In front of that, I've done this section of further pockets that gives you lots more options. So you're getting functionality out of the back pocket, the inside cover. And on top of that, we've given you 3 pockets here. The larger one on this side fits a hoop, as you can see. And you can keep some books or anything else. I just tried to fill it as well as I possibly could with products that I had to give you a very good idea of the function of the bag and a visual of how much it can take. So in this pocket, I put some fabrics, more fabrics in here. And you got to remember that if these don't suit you over time, you know, you're welcome to remove some of these little stitches in here. It's up to you, but I think you will find use. This part of it is very functional, and I think you'll get a lot of use out of it. In this case, in this pocket, we've given you 6 pockets that are the exact same size. And I do know we have people saying, look, I don't need as many little pockets. I prefer a full length. If that's what you want, please do not worry about it. You can remove the little piping here. It's just unstitching it here and in here, and you will get yourself the full horizontal pocket here. You can leave these 3 as is. Work around the bag as it suits you. All of you are very creative. You know what you're doing. I think it makes a lot of difference. Some people might say, I don't mind the one on the side, but I just like a little extra room here. So you only remove this section and leave the rest of this sleeve exactly as is. So that's the second pocket. And then we're going on to the second page of this bag. And you've got 3 full horizontal pockets, and you can see the length of it. It's quite long, and you can put lots of products in here. Some people put their knitting needles in here. They might have trims or whatever, but the choice is yours. Product is something I've just tried to fill it with nice bright stuff so you can visualize. And of course, the dimensions on the insert we've given you gives you a very good idea of what you can use this bag for and the dimensions. In this case, we've given you 4 of the identical sizes. Again, you can be flexible with these center pipings. It's up to you how you want to use it. Most people just use the bag as is because we've tried to give you different options over this bag that will help you organize yourself going forward. And you always, eventually you start getting a little inventory for your eye to see that in the reverse, in the second pocket, I've got these items. I've got my whatever, the paperwork in here. I've got my accessories and my trims in one of them. That's how you use it. I've just tried to explain it to you here. Now in this pocket, I've just put some paper and some pictures of products in here, but you can use this for your fabrics. It's quite a generous little size. And what I want to focus on now, I'm going to go to the base of the bag. When you look in here, there's a lot of room behind this, so you can place a small quilt at the bottom. You can use this area for quite a few things. And in here, the one thing I wanted to do from the beginning of time, 20 years ago, is give you the option to keep a 12 by 18 board in here. And I think that's a very big plus for this bag. It fits a comfortable 12 by 18 board. So I'm going to remove the board and show you what's below it. You've got an extra pocket, which is again clear. You can keep your books, your magazines. There's so much room in here where the base of the bag works very practically, and you can still shut the bag at the end with everything under. So that's the room, and I wanted to point out this space that you've got between in the base of the bag. So I'm going to just keep this little mat aside, and I'm going to turn the bag again because I want to show you something else that makes it quite exciting when you're using these products of ours. So in here, we sell a lot of these little pockets, right? So this is the large set that is CA510, and that they come in a three-pocket, three pockets that come in one set, and you can fill them up and use it in the base of your bag with maybe other items that you might like to save. Then we've got the CA405, which is a three-piece set. You can place that at the bottom if you want to add to it. All of our products complement each other. These are two rectangle pouches, CA420, and that works brilliantly at the base of this bag. Now, the choice is yours whether you want to add, complement what you already got. You might not need it at the beginning, but I've noticed that people do come in and buy the smaller bags so that they can fit comfortably in here. So I've got these three pieces in here, and I'm going to show you something else. We've got our very popular mini craft organizer large, and all of you are very familiar with this bag. It's been here. This was the first bag we introduced 20 years ago. So that fits maybe with your smaller items. I've got my sewing machine mat that you can drape over your table and place your sewing machine on it when you're at class. That works, and as you know, it folds up into quite a little piece, and we can just place that in the base of this bag. Then I've got my sewing machine feet organizer. A lot of you own that bag as well. So often people say, look, it works brilliantly because you do need more than the big bag you carry, especially when you're going for 3 or 4 days. It does help you have everything accessible and viewable for you. So that will fit in this space as well. So if I look at all of this and make sure that it takes everything comfortably, you will not have any trouble fitting all those items at the base of the bag. And that is the beauty of the bag. They're flexible, they work very well. It's just a question of what you'd like to fill in them and take with you when you're going to classes. Sometimes you might not need all of them, but this just tells you that it's a lot bigger than you think. Some people say, well, it's actually helped us with 3 or 4 sewing baskets that we've used in the past. It just condenses everything you're taking, and you will find great use of this carry-all bag that we've offered for almost 20 years now. Again, I'm going to reiterate the fact that this works brilliantly for your mat as well. So I'll just take these out because you don't get them with, you'd have to order them separately. But this mat as well does not come in the bag, but at least you can see clearly that it fits very comfortably at the base of the mat. And you can throw a small quilt, fabrics, anything you need. So I'm going to just recap here. These are the 4 pockets, exactly the same size. You've got 3 horizontal pockets. You've got 6 smaller pockets in here. Again, you can, there's flexibility where you can remove these pipings. You've got these 3 pockets. You've got an inside cover. And all of that is our Yazzie carry-all, and it's extremely, extremely popular. I know I get calls about this and they say it's the best thing we've ever bought. And all my newer bags also become very popular. You know, we've had to come up with various styles catering to different things. And as a business, we just went ahead, produced about 5 or 6 very popular large bags. And I'm very happy with the result, because if you like them, then I feel inspired to create more bags. And I'm very thrilled and proud of the Yazzie carryall. The code again is CA120. I hope you enjoyed this demo, and I look forward to presenting other products very shortly. Bye. Hi, today I'm going to demonstrate our oval craft organizer. This is a bag I introduced about 16 years ago in our Yazzie craft storage bag range. And all of you do know by now that they are very multifunctional. They work for jewelry, makeup, medications, they use for craft. I think they're just so versatile in their usage, and people buy them as little gift ideas for Christmas, birthdays, graduation gifts. You know, every woman wants a bag to take with her and organize her personal pieces like jewelry, makeup, your craft accessories, etc. So as a mid-sized bag, it has worked extremely well because you've got a very comfortable shoulder strap, and I think it does fit over your shoulder, and you can be hands-free when you're taking it to classes. So we do provide this little insert that comes in every bag in its packaging that explains the fact that they're multifunctional, and the dimensions of this bag closed is 23 by 25 by 7.5 centimeters, and it's 9.25 by 10 inches times 3 inches, which is the depth of it, right? So I'm going to just show you the bag. And before I open it, I'm going to say there's an external one pocket in here that you can keep your phone, you can keep your pens, you might want to keep your keys, your car keys. It's up to you, but at least you know we've given you that external pocket. The straps that we've given you on both sides, I want to show you clearly that it actually goes all the way through the bag, and that's why it's very sturdy and very stable, very durable. It carries a lot of product in there. As long as you're not overfilling it to a point where it's straining the zipper, you should be okay. I know of people who've used it for years and love this bag. So I'm going to open it and show it to you now by pockets so you understand. There's the cover of the bag. And in here, you've got a full pocket where I've just put some fabrics in there, some trims in there. You do have a lot of space. There's a lot of give in the bags that you can throw even more in here, and it will be perfect as far as closing the bag. Then in this pocket, you've got 2 vertical pockets that might take your smaller items. And again, I've always found that people say, well, I don't really want the center pocket. I prefer 2 of the full pockets. And that choice is yours. You just need to unpick this piping here, and you will find you'll end up with a pocket equal to this size, and it works brilliantly. Then we're talking about going to the center part of this bag, where I've given you a horizontal pocket, 2 smaller ones, a horizontal pocket, and 2 smaller ones, just so that you're getting it for your needles, your pins. You might have smaller items that you want to keep aside, and you can see them easily. They're easily viewable, accessible, and you know after a few months of using it where things are and where you're sort of, in a way, filing it within this bag. And that's important. Again, I will stress that if you do want both to be horizontal, you can remove this little piping and you'll end up with 2 horizontal pockets. So that's the important feature of the bag. Then I've given you the full pocket here and another full pocket out here. So if you think about it, we've given you that many full pockets. You might not need to do anything in here and use them the way it is, but I tried to give you as much flexibility as possible. And the other thing I wanted to mention that's very important is when you look at this bag, the zipper is in the middle. That's unlike some of the other bags that we've got. The zipper is in the middle. So if you lay it on the table or on your lap, or if you at a soccer match or a cricket match, or you know, it's some sports event, you can have this sitting on your lap, and you can flip your pages both ways, and it's very easy to access everything. If it was on the top, you might have more problems trying to access your products inside. So it's a very user-friendly bag, and I found that over the time, this has become my top-selling mid-size bag. People get the fact that it's got the handles, they're comfortable handles. You can really work. It fills a lot more than you need to, or you can imagine. It does not take a book. That's one thing I need to mention to you. But as a mid-size bag, it's perfect. And the center zipper has been a key feature. That's the highlight of this bag. And I've tried to change the pockets around to give you a lot more functionality. And if you do decide that you want to use the pockets in a slightly different context, you are welcome to remove these little pipings within that. It's just stitches. You have to unpick them and carefully, and it will work. So that's our oval craft organizer, probably the best mid-size bag we've got in our range. So if any of you are looking, it is CA140, and you will find more information. And we've got lots of videos on our website that'll give you lots more information about this product. I hope you enjoy this. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to begin with the Crafter's Companion, and the style number is CA230. Before I do that, I want to explain that all our products come in 7 colors. We've got a black, navy, a bright red, a blood red, a beautiful green, olive green. We've got a purple, aqua, and a hot pink, a fuchsia. So these are the 7 colors unless we've run out of stock, but anything on the website can be purchased in these 7 colors on our current products that are listed on our website. So I'm going to begin with the CA230. And firstly, I want to explain that the measurements for this is 10.8 inches by 13.3 by 5 inches, and they are approximate dimensions. They're a good size for you to carry all your craft supplies for your classes and your retreats. And I'm sure you're going to have a lot of extra space, and you'll be surprised at how much it carries. We also have given you a nice strap that goes through the back, through the bag, and onto the other side. That gives you security as far as weight in case you put your magazines, something a little heavier than you should. There is a limit to what the bags can carry, but I've been told by many crafters over 20 years that they're surprised at how many sewing baskets it has replaced, and also the fact that they're so durable and they seem to last forever. So that's the external, and there's no external pocket in this particular bag. And I'm sure all of you know that a lot of world-class designers have done some amazing projects and embellishing on the bags with wool craft embroidery, whether it's sashiko or boro embroidery, applique, beading, and the list is endless. Machine embroidery. There's so much that can be done with these bags after you've used them for a while and you want to give it a fresh look. So I'm going to start with the demonstration now. And firstly, on the cover side, we've given you 2 pockets here that are deep enough for you to keep fabrics or anything. And you'll see there's a lot of give in each pocket. And as you use them, you will find they just become a little more pliable, softer, and they do work extremely well. So on this side, we've given you 3 horizontal pockets, and that, as you can see, fits the eleganza threads. Some orifles also will fit. They'll also take some of the Valdani little cotton your crochet cottons, but you will get a little less of that. It just depends on the thickness. It wasn't meant to fit very large spools of thread, but I just offered that as an option. And any of these pockets can be filled with your craft notions. The next pocket is a full pocket where you've got your books, your magazines, and you can keep your ruler and templates. And on this side, we've got a Velcro out here. So you can throw in your magazines, trims, any of your notions. What I do is I tend to fill them up as much as possible. So it gives you a very good visual and a good idea on what exactly does fit, and it helps you decide on the bag you choose. So on both ends of this pocket, this sleeve, we've got Velcro pockets. And the next sleeve, we've given you a zippered pocket so that you can fill things on both sides, and the same configuration on the opposite side. And on this pocket, which is the last one for this bag, I've put some elasticated sections in here for your tools, your scissors. You might have a few markers, quilt markers, etc. Whatever you choose to, but I just tried to make it as visual as possible for you to have a good sense of the bag. At the end, we've got a full pocket. As you can see, I've got a magazine out here. This fits your A4 books, and you can keep some fabrics at the bottom. Sometimes people would keep my smaller bags. You might want to keep your sewing machine mat. You might want to keep one of our Yazzie iron storage bags at the bottom as well. There's so much that fits in here. And this is just to give you an example that this works perfectly for an A4 size product. So you've got one sleeve, 2, 3, and 4. And in total, there are 16 pockets if I had to just add the various sizes in here. And it works brilliantly. Now, what I will highlight to you is that if ever you feel that you need more open space and you don't necessarily want the divisions, you can unpick the center piping out here in all our products that gives you extra room. You don't have to be stuck with what we've done. But when I designed it many, many years ago, I was going on the fact that I need to give options to everybody. I'm never going to please everybody. And there are going to be people out there who would say, I wish I had this or I wish I had that, but that's okay. The fact that we offer flexible storage bags, beautifully handcrafted in India, and I know of many people who have had this Crafter's Companion now for 15 years, 14 years, and they're still using it, and it looks as good as ever. So when I shut this, this is our Crafter's Companion. And as I showed you earlier, it sits over your shoulder perfectly. I'm going to now put up on the screen our insert for our Quilters Project Bag CA880, and I'll set myself up for that demo. Okay, this is our Quilter's Companion, and I did tell you earlier that this has got an external pocket for your keys, your mobile phone, whatever you need to put. For me, it was more just making a point of difference so that we can manage during the packaging of these bags for your orders, so there's no mistakes made at all. And the other thing I needed to mention again is this is approximately the same size, given 1 centimeter or so difference, with the Crafter's Companion and the Quilter's Project Bag. Again, our straps go all the way through the bag, all the way to the other side, and we've just added a pocket right on top for the point of difference. So that's the Quilter's Companion, which was introduced about 4 to 5 years ago. And I'm going to demonstrate the bag, and let's start with the cover pocket, where you've got your external pocket, inside cover. I gave you your little threads extra. Now, the reason why we made the difference and I designed the bag again were quilters often said that they loved the Crafter's Companion, but they felt I might have dissected it a little bit more than I should have. It worked brilliantly for many years, and I still have quilters who say, no, I still like that bag, and that's fine. But I did in Houston once have a meeting with a few quilters, and they said they'd like the bag changed slightly that'll be appealing to more quilters. They wanted larger pockets. They did not want anything less than, if you look at the A4, A5, A4, A5, it just sort of went in that manner throughout the 4 sleeves as well. And again, at the end cover, I've given you these elasticated areas. I put a fabric pocket at the end so that you can keep a scissors and you don't tear into any of the plastics. So that was definitely a bag that I changed. So you've got 17 pockets in all with the external pocket outside the bag. And that works brilliantly with exactly what they wanted for their larger projects. They love the bag. So I know for every 10 quilters out there, there are 7 that'll choose this bag hands down over the Crafter's Companion. But then, we are not there to tell you what to do. The difference is a few dollars, but I did change it 4 to 5 years ago, this bag, and it has appealed to everyone. The Westerly rulers, often people come to me and say they'd like the storage bag for Westerly rulers. And this is what they are pointing to as a bag that works brilliantly to store their templates. A top zipper. In here, you've got the center zipper, so we'll sit down on your table, where often when you're going to your retreats, you have less space to work with, work area. So this is sitting in the middle, and you can flip the pages like a little book, like a filing system. You can get to the areas you want to. Everything is accessible to you. So I think that's the other big factor that's making a decision and swaying people to go for this bag is the way it opens. It's not from the top where you have to sort of dig into the lower pockets. I mean, it still works. It worked for as many years that it did, but I wanted to make a slight difference. So I added larger pockets here. I gave you the center zipper here. Size is approximately the same. And again, on this one, you don't have to remove any of the pipings or anything because you've got everything you need in front of you. Perfect for your classes and retreats. If you are educators in the country, you're welcome to sort of look at these so that you can carry it for your teaching assignments. Uh, we've been told many years now that these are the best bags around. They're beautifully made. They're crafted so well. Keep in mind they're made on treadle machines in India. They considered handcrafted bags. And when I get testimonials day in and day out for the last 20 years of how well they've used them is all I need to go forward in my business. Thank you again, and I hope you liked the demonstration. And I look forward to seeing you for the next product. Bye for now.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, Yasmina. How are you?
Very well, thank you. It is very early in the morning here today. It's Tuesday, and I feel I'm quite excited to have you here today, and we can chat a little bit about what you do. And I just wanted to, again, thank you on behalf of Yazzie Bags, as well as the Australian sewing community, for allowing us and giving us the opportunity to get to know you today. we've prepared a few questions. We just want to understand your journey, where you sort of began. There's so much everyone wants to know about you because you have such an amazing global following. And, we hear about you everywhere. And I often think, well, it's nice that I personally know you. We've been working together for many years. And I think there is a curiosity around many people as to your inspiration, what makes you design certain styles or whatever it is. But I do hope you can answer these questions and let the Australian and the New Zealand and just everyone down under at this point in time understand your story. So I'm going to start with a few questions that I think might help lead you into giving, some sort of a specific description and answer to what we might want to know. So firstly, I'm going to start at the beginning, and probably that's the best place to start is, where were you born and raised, and how has this influenced the use, just your creativity in where you are today?
Okay, well, yes, I was born in Zambia in Africa, and I then went to South Africa when I was very young, about 5 years old, and I graduated from high school and from nursing school in South Africa. And I think I've always had a creative feel for a lot of different things. So when I was a child, my dad is very artistic, and he would introduce my sister and I to many different art forms. So I was exposed to a lot. But I think that what really caught my attention was the color and the influence of sort of graphic, I want to say more like naive but African art, and that definitely has influenced my direction that I went as a designer. So I lived in Africa until in my early 30s, and then I immigrated to America, and that's where I live now in Ohio in America.
And where did you, meaning how did you learn to quilt and embroider? I mean, obviously you were exposed to a lot of crafts, but at what stage of your life did you sort of get into the quilting and embroidery side of things?
So I was sewed from a very young age, and my mom was a seamstress, so I learned a lot from her. We were lucky back then. We had home economics in school, so we did a lot of sewing. And I started to quilt in the 70s. It was sort of interesting. There wasn't much quilting fabric in South Africa, but my mom and dad would come on business to the United States, and she would bring me back lots of little calico prints back then, and I would just really piece them into my clothing. So I made a lot of clothing and did a lot of piecing with fabrics. And then I went actually to live in England for about 3 years in my early 20s, and that's where I took my first quilting class, and that was English paper piecing. And so I got into the quilting, obviously into the fabric. At that time, I then returned to South Africa for about 10 years before I came to the US and started to teach some classes of, quilting classes. So back then, all I was doing was piecing and just playing with different types of fabrics. When I came to the US, I took a class in applique. And so I started to do just cotton applique. So that was really fun. I liked the more sort of folky type images. And then I made my first wool quilt probably 20 years ago now. It's probably even a bit longer than that. And once I had made that quilt, I just fell in love with working with hand-dyed wool. And that was sort of the start of it all. I started my own business, and I was mixing sort of cottons and wools together. And back then, no one was doing that. It was either wool or cotton, and it was primitive or primitive wool quilts. And so my sister decided she'd like to start dyeing some wool. So I said, yeah, why don't you dye a few colors and then we'll see where we're going to go. And so she dyed this lovely palette of colors, and she said, well, why don't you pick 12 of them? And I picked 37. So we started with 37 colors of wool, and she dyed for many, many years for me. And then about, I guess, 10 years ago now, my son Jason took over the dyeing, which we do now in Ohio. So we were, going back, I think the first person or company that introduced colorful wools to the market. So so let's talk about the embroidery. I was never an embroiderer. I never learned to embroider as a child. We did mainly knitting and sewing. And so I'd been working with wool quilts for a few years. And when I teach, I like to be able to really teach people new things. And so I thought, well, what if I try 1 or 2 embroidery stitches? And that's how it started. So I actually learned the embroidery stitches as I taught them. And so those, for a few years, I would put 1 or 2 stitches on a few projects. And then I got to do Imperial Blooms, which was is a quilt with flower blocks. And that was the year I was going to really learn embroidery. And that's probably about 10 years ago. And so I started with that. And since then, I just got so enamored with the dimension and texture you get with layering with wool and cottons, and then all the embroidery stitches, that it's hard to stop now.
I find that, I was going to ask you about the story between this unique style of the way the textured quilting that you do. And obviously you've just mentioned that right now, because every time I look at social media or anything that you do, and you do know I'm not a sewer, and I don't sort of do any crafts, but I do appreciate, it's eye-catching. You think, wow, everyone's like another wow, and I find that's been, for me, being a non-crafter, I get so attracted to what you're doing. I think it's the color. I like a lot of color, and everything around you is a lot of color. So I have always appreciated where you've taken it. I mean, I know people like the subdued kind, and those are nice too, but it's not me. And you bring out another dimension in the way people are seeing things now, and they get excited. I know when they come and they talk about the way what you're doing and your books and stuff, it's always around the color, the texture, and you really have built that whole side of it, that there's a lot of people now following that sort of a style as well. But I know, it was in the beginning where you began it, where you started the whole process of the textured side of it and the use of color and wool and everything. It's just beautiful. I mean, I'm just wondering, at this stage, with the way the pandemic is going and stuff, you've been teaching for so long, and you're obviously not going out right now. Are you going anywhere at this stage, or are you sort of pretty well home-based and running the business from there?
Well, I've been home for the last 14 months, but I am teaching in a couple of weeks. I'm going to Santa Fe, so that'll be the first trip away. I have a few trips planned. We're just taking it month by month to see if they're going to be a go or not. But I have missed that part of it, because I do love the interaction with my students and the creativity from the classes. So it'll all be fun to do a bit of that again.
I think we're all looking forward to getting out a little bit now, because I think it's been a long time and we've been patient, but for the right reasons. I think, we had to accept the reality of what's going on in the world, and that's great. But I've also noticed you do quite a bit of online, like demonstrations, a little bit of, is it teaching, or is it more like you were doing certain stitches and explaining how it all happens?
I did 2 programs last year through Instagram called Insta Stitch with Sue. And one was a 90-day program where we did a circle a day. And the other one was little pumpkin blocks that we did a block a week. And it was it was very therapeutic for me, as well as I've heard from many people, because it was something for everyone to look forward to every day. So we did a little video and instructions. And so in the end, we had a little piece. I actually have it here. I can just sort of show it, of 90 days of little circles. And so every day we did a circle, and we did all sorts of different creative things, even a little octopus down here, little bird. But it was something to focus on, and something positive. And so that was really good.
I think during this time, there were lots of people wanting to do little projects, and probably they had time available,
Yes,
and
right.
it's still there. I think generally, would you say this? I think this industry has sort of come out okay in all of this. We're still not out of the woods
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
But,
I think it's like any time there's any type of problem, you have to think creatively of how you're going to deal with it, and what you can do to keep afloat. And so that was part of it. It was from a business point of view as well as from a creative point of view that we did that.
yeah. So as far as the business now, you've got a showroom, and at this stage, people do come in and visit you right now, right?
Yeah, we've opened. We actually have a physical store now. So we have a store, and we have a big classroom. So we do give classes here, and we have sew-ins, and we have a retail site, as well as our big warehouse that is for our wholesale business.
Right, right. Now, I think, and even your children are all involved in the business, so most of them?
3 out of 4 of them, yes. So,
Wow. Well, I tell you though, we're looking forward to seeing all of you again. I'm not sure when it's going to be, because we're not allowed to travel to the US or leave the country as such. Like, they don't encourage it, you know. I mean, it's not that they're going to say refuse it, but I think it's more important for us to understand how we're going to get back if anything changes. So, as far as us being an island, in a manner of speaking, I think there's less encouragement of people leaving and coming into the country, and that's what's kept us reasonably safe against.
right. Yeah.
I think that's important too. Do you have family around in South Africa still, or you sort of have moved away?
No, they've moved away now, so I don't have any family, but our hearts are still there.
Yeah, I think it is. You know, I'm from South Africa too, and with all the problems going on there, it's been difficult to accept, you know, the reality that there's so many people we know, loved ones, that have lost their lives during this time. They're okay for now, but during that difficult period, I think we were all very, very concerned. And we always are concerned about all of you out here. You know, we think about you and hope. I mean, we know you're staying safe, and at least you in your business, and you're not going too far from Uniontown, Ohio, right? You're there. So there's nothing. But the weather's improving now quite nicely, isn't it?
Yes, it's spring, so everything's in bloom, and we're going to get a few warmer days this week, so it's good. Yeah, we had a snowstorm last week, which was unusual, but it's going to be really nice this week.
Absolutely. So enjoy it. I think all of you deserve that from you know, the fact that you've been through a winter and everything, and I think that's important. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is, there's always, like everywhere I go, people, even in Australia and the US, you hear about what can be done to encourage the youth, the new generation today, into the world of creativity, stitching, whatever they do. I mean, it doesn't have to be long projects like quilts or whatever, but in whatever form. What do you feel about this, and how do you sort of plan some of your classes around it?
Well, I think it is a challenge, because I think a lot of young people, their focus is to be online, and not necessarily taking classes in stores. But I guess we've tried to seek out projects that younger people would do that we have on our website. So we have, you know, young people in our creative team, and they're always looking for things that would appeal to them, which is nice, not just to me. And so that will help. I think it's also very important to have a social media, good social media team that is promoting things, doing free classes online to get people interested in what you're doing. Actually, this is the second year, but I do 2 block of the months now, a year. One is a simpler one and one is a much more advanced one. And so we've seen that we've had younger people signing up for that. So I think a lot of young people who've done a lot of embroidery or basic embroidery are looking to learn a little bit more creative stitches and things like that. So that is a good thing. So like you said, it's little projects, not necessarily big projects, that they can keep their hands busy and also be creative and learning.
I think they also want achievable, like meaning, short term, so that they finish it, they can use them as gift ideas. I think that's important too. I don't think they have the patience today that you would have had. Not me, but you would have had to finish something over a period of time. I've always wondered, it takes a certain personality to sit there and make sure it finishes over. And some can take, how long would be your longest project, Will?
Oh gosh, so the big quilts that I do as a block of the month takes a year to do. I mean, it's not a full time. Obviously, it takes a couple of weeks every month to do the blocks. So there's a lot of work and a lot of time that goes into those. So, we're not always looking for projects like that. In fact, while I've been home, it's been fun because with having the store now, I can do little samples for it. And it's been fun to do some quick and easy little samples, just really with the focus on the fabric and not necessarily, on labor intensive things. And so I've enjoyed that myself, so that you get something in a couple of hours, you've done a little project.
No, that's great. I just love what you do, and I love your social media, and just everything that you present out there is fabulous. I also wanted to ask you, I've noticed some sashiko stuff that's going on with what you're doing, and I think it's beautiful. I love, if I had to attempt anything in my life, let's just say if tomorrow someone said, okay, what would you like to do in the sewing arena? I might.
Yes.
It seems like I can follow a thing.
It would be good because it's just a little running stitch generally, and it's something you can just put in your purse, and whenever you have a few minutes, you can pull it out and do a little bit. I find it very therapeutic. I love to do it as well.
Right. And what's like meaning, have you done any projects on that using the sashiko boro style of embroidery on any like quilts or anything at this stage?
So I do a lot of background stitching in my quilts, and so I've started to do quite a bit of sort of sashiko stitching in the background. But I've also done where I do a traditional sashiko piece, and then I'll applique it onto a background or into a piece it into something. But again, you can always do the little pieces of cloth and then make them into little bags and drawstring bags and use them for different things like that as well. So it's very fun to do, and we do it with all types of thread. We have a lot of different types of sashiko thread we sell, but we do it with all sorts of threads, all the eleganza and the wool thread and everything as well. So
that's still the main, like the eleganza thread is what you sort of focus, like meaning that's your main thread base.
Well, it's a basic, the basic pearl cotton, but we stock, I don't know, maybe 40 brands of different types of threads. So I like lots of other textural threads as well that I use. So there's a vast variety that we love to play with.
I noticed you have some South African thread too.
We do. We actually just became a distributor for them. So we wholesale them to our stores, but we have 120 colors now in size 5 and size 8. It's a beautiful, beautiful thread. It's a hand-dyed thread. So we love it.
Yeah, now I noticed that it's, I was reading on it. And also some of the books you've been writing and preparing. What was the latest one that you've,
Well, it's still homegrown, like behind me, but we are in the process of writing some of our books that we're a little bit behind on. So the next one will be Forest for the Trees, which is my tree quilt. And then we have Chirp and Of a Feather still to write. So you know, we've been very fortunate and very busy, but we've been a bit behind on the production of books.
well, I think you're covering a lot of ground here, even with, can you imagine what would have happened if we were out at the shows, you were, you know, exhibiting somewhere and being at markets and trying to achieve what you've done in the last year? There's only that many hours in the day, and you need to stop and take a breather. I just feel like I've been talking to a few people in the US, a lot of businesses, and generally this industry has done fairly well. So, and I'm sure you've seen that. And I think those little workshops that you did, the 2 projects that you picked up last year, I think they were great ideas and it really appealed to everyone. And that was one way of keeping everyone busy. And it just brought everything you do in a patient, like might not have found that time to sit and explain these stitches the way you did.
Right.
You know?
I would never have been able to do that because I was on the road teaching so much. So it was good. We had a new focus for a while, which was fun.
Absolutely. And as far as your times for your warehouse and stuff, do you have limited times for access to it in the US?
No, most of our orders come from online, but you know, people wanted to stop and purchase. If you were a wholesaler, we're open from 8 until 5 Monday through Friday, and our store is open Tuesday through Saturday. So from 10 till 4, I think it is. So there's always someone here during the week.
Now, do you personally switch off on the weekends and not do any sewing? Is there any day of the week that you don't?
No. I sew all the time. I would never. That's the problem with handwork. You know, it's very meditative and it's lovely, but it takes a long time. So I never, in fact, have enough hours to do what I would love to do, all of it that I'd love to do. But I stitch every day, every evening, and a lot of the time over the weekends. But I do hope to get out into my garden in the next few weeks and plant some more flowers, and which I love to do as well.
Yeah. I think I knew that about you, that you like gardening and stuff.
Yes.
So probably this would be, now with the weather improving, it should be great for you to get out of it. But do you actively, in the business, you sort of are not actively working, but you're more in the class side of it? If there's classes and stuff, you would.
Yeah. I mean, through the pandemic, I worked in the shipping department for a long time because we were short and we had to send people home. So we worked as a team, the family, and did that for quite a few months. But we are in a good place now with good staff covered for everywhere. So I get a lot of time to create and brainstorm and come up with new things during the day, which is really good.
I just think, the fact that your family is so supportive and a part of this, it does help just having that little bit of breath in the way you're thinking and this brainstorming. All of them are probably involved in different areas of your business, and that can bring it all together for you. And I always found that quite fascinating, that you've been able to have different skills and yet work together, and that's what makes it so successful in what you're doing. You should be very proud of all of them being right there next to you, and trying to get ahead. And it's been great. I know things are going well, but at the same time, we just hope things remain safe in America. We know none of us are out of it. Even in Australia, we feel sometimes, oh, we're so fortunate, but you just don't know from one day to the other what's going to happen. So just be thankful for where we are.
Yes.
and going forward. And what I'd like to ask you, another question is, do you, like, I know you use Yazzie bags as part of what you do, and as projects and stuff. Was there anything in particular that you sort of feel drawn to with the bags, that you feel that they work for you in your
We use and sell a lot of them. So we have different bags. Here I have a little bag. We have different bags that we like to put blocks on, and they work really well for what I do, because often you can just have a little block and embellish it and put it on, and it just jazzes up your bag, but it also makes it a little bit more personal, which is nice. We love, we love these little thread holders, and I often will do a little ribbon on the front, or a little patch with different appliques. We use the allium pouches a lot, and we love your bags that we can put the pouches in. So the little folder and the craft box, we use those. And then every year for the block of the month, I always use one of your bags as our project, and I design something that is especially for that project. So this year we're doing mushrooms as one of the block of the months, and I did a beautiful, I think it was an atlas moth on the one that I did for this year. So we find them very useful, and so do all my customers and my students. So we're grateful that you're there making those and supplying them to the industry.
No, that's great, because it has been 20 years for us that we operating. So we're celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. I don't even know how I got here, but whatever it is, I'm very grateful. We all are, in whatever we do in the smallest way. I'm not going to be able to go back to the factory to India for a little while now. But the fact that we've got everything so running as smoothly as it is, I can place orders, and they know, but new designs are going to be a bit difficult. But fortunately, I had about 8 new products that I was going to introduce last year in Houston, and it never happened. So I'm sitting with them at home in Melbourne, Australia, admiring them every day and wondering when to launch them.
Oh, well, we can't wait to see what they are. It'll be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in time we will, but everyone needed to sort of take a break now and say, there's no need to bring anything and cause more confusion. So I was happy just to stay where I was, and we'll wait for everything to come through. And I'm sure I'll bring something up. I mean, I've got the ideas that come from crafters. You've also suggested so many ideas to me over the time. And what's the best part of it is when I see your beautiful project on a bag, absolutely brilliant, and they keep their notions and their supplies within the bag. So that becomes like a real double purpose of something that they've done personalized it, put a lot of effort into it, and then they still can use the bag. So it's not just a pin cushion or a table runner, it's more a bag that they can use.
Yes, but I always think, well, what would we have done with all our threads if we didn't have them?
Yeah. I get people asking about your thread reel bag, the little black one that you sell. Often in Australia, they want to know about those little thread bags. Are you supplying it to anyone here in Australia, any stores?
Thread bags?
The 3-piece, the sleeves, the sleeves
sleeves. Yeah, we have stores that buy them from us.
Okay, in Australia?
Yeah.
Okay, because I wouldn't mind knowing, because I get lots of emails around that, and I keep sending them to your website. So I'm still trying to figure out. Okay.
No, we have lots of stores that buy them because they like them to put they were designed to put the eleganza in, so they work perfectly for those.
Yeah, and they fit other threads too in there, but I just think those look so beautiful. It just looks like a little shop within your sleeve, you know. And they color code them, and they really, I would say that has been such a popular item, you know. I know, you know, you're supplying them and whatever it is, but the fact that I get these questions even today, and I was wondering, I've been meaning to ask you whether they're available easily here. Even then I can recommend, you know, where they can go to, but I just haven't been able to do that. So okay, now that we're getting sort of towards the end of things, can you, do you want to show us something, tell us something, share something? We just want to hear a little bit more from you before we leave.
Well, I had a couple of other little projects here that I'll share. Just little projects that we did. Here's a little pincushion, and it's sort of colorful and has a little label. This is called a pansy pincushion. So we did a few little projects like this. This is the other one. This is a needle roll of mine. So a lot of people are loving to do this project. And it has lovely little labels inside. And this was actually our very first PDF pattern we did. So we're trying to do some PDF patterns for people abroad who, you know, it's hard for them sometimes unless they're placing a large order to make it worth their while. So this is one of our PDF patterns with lots of stitching on, and it sort of rolls up like this into a needle roll, and you can take it with you. So
I love the
a couple of
colorway.
projects that we did around Christmas time. So, and like I said, we're busy working on, you know, the new books and a squad pattern that people have been asking for. And yeah, we have lots of new templates that we brought out a couple of months ago. Yeah, we always...
Are you planning a few new projects for Christmas this year? You know, you come up with something that maybe...
Yes, yeah. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. We're always trying to do some little small projects that are doable.
And your 12 days to Christmas also, I noticed you have that pattern going to...
We have that every year.
Yeah. Sitting in Australia, being a non-crafter, I do follow you. And I know a lot about what you do.
The problem with social media, you can't keep anything secret, huh?
No, you can't. But look, I just think the fact that, you know, we've met so many times at various, we are missing being out there. But to be honest, if I had to ask you, like, I'll tell you straight, I don't really want to go out again. I've sort of reached that point where I'm satisfied where I am. We've sort of figured out another way to do our business and present our products, and it has worked for me. It might not be working for everyone, but how do you feel about it?
Well, I part of the teaching is also traveling and going to new places, and I do love to travel. So I will be happy when I feel safe to travel. I don't think I'll travel to the same extent that I was before COVID, because I was on the road 95% of my life. So it has been nice to regroup with my family and spend some time in my home. But I will look forward to selective teaching and really being involved with my students. That's the part that I just love, is the interaction and the creativity in classes that I don't think you ever get on an online class. It's just not quite the same. So I do look forward to that. But I'm not getting any younger either, so, you know, I probably won't, like I said, won't travel as much, but be a bit more selective with that.
I think we're all getting to that stage where it's also to do with the fact that as we're getting older, probably, but the fact that it has worked at this level, it's good enough. In your case, I understand totally that teaching is like, when you're personally there with the student, it makes a big difference. So I'm not in that position, but hopefully we come there soon and we meet up again and get together again and see each other.
A good Indian meal together.
Absolutely. And I did say I'm going to do the cooking. So tell your children I'm definitely going to be preparing something special for you. Uh,
Okay.
I just love the fact that we know each other, we're comfortable, and we've worked together for so long on a professional basis, as well as just got together. And hopefully, even beyond all this, we can remain good friends. And I think that's been the most important, that we've sort of enjoyed a lot of laughs together. We've chatted. We can talk about anything. We come from the same background, and those things are important as well. So I really feel very honored, Sue, that, after all these years that I've known you, that finally we've got together, sort of sharing a screen in a way. And that's been probably something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and no better time than now, where we just don't know when things are going to improve. They are getting better. We'd like to be positive, but we cannot just sit and say and do nothing. So hopefully this will help. I'm going to share whatever I found and whatever we talked about today with a lot of people around in the Australian and the New Zealand market. If I can send it back to South Africa through my friends, I will too. So we'll definitely share your story. I appreciate, I've got to know a lot more about you today. I mean, even though I've known you for so long, I think you've explained parts that you fill the gaps in a way for me. And I think
Well,
that's
send my love to all the Australians and New Zealanders as well, because I have made a lot of friends over the years, coming and teaching and interacting through social media. So I'm very fond of everyone back in
Well,
your.
they love you. From all the shows we do out here, there's nobody that doesn't know you, and they really, wait. And if someday you come back here at some point, I mean, it'll be great. But I know it's not going to happen right away. But the fact that you're here and they're going to see this interview, I'm sure they appreciate that very much, because you do have such a big following, and it's taken years to build that credibility for you, and hard work too. It's not just about doing something, a lot of people teach, but you've done it in a very distinctive style, and whatever you've achieved, it's been, I think, well worth the effort, where people are actually appreciating everything you do. Anything little, if it's Sue Spargo, it's fabulous, and I like to hear that. So I do appreciate your time here today, Sue. And please give my love to all the family, and hopefully we'll catch up again at some stage. I just wanted to share this today, and and thank you personally from me that you were able to do this and provide the time.
Oh, well, thank you for the invitation. It was lovely talking to you, and you keep safe. Send my love to Dilip.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Bye. Bye.
insert. Okay, now we're ready to start with our knitting and crochet range today. So you're seeing the insert up on the screen and the dimensions are there. That'll give you a short description of what this bag is about. And I know everybody loves this. We've had it for many years, this knitting needle case, and I'm going to demonstrate it to you. Okay, so I've got it on my table. And I'm going to just show you the, firstly, it fits this way where you've got a row out here for shorter hooks, in case you're working with some of those. You've also got lots of room in here for lots of needles. Now, often we get people asking, how many needles does it fit? It all depends on how many and how thick are your needles. That's more important than how many fit. You can see visually it fits a long needle. The most of your standard needles should fit in here. What we did on this end is I thought it would be a great idea to give you some kind of a pocket in here. So you can probably throw some circular needles in here. You can keep other items and accessories that you think are valuable and useful to have with your knitting needle case. And on this end, I've just filled it with some threads and stuff, again, to give you an idea that this is a see-through pocket. It's got a piping at the edge, beautifully crafted bag on a treadle machine. It works fabulously. We've had this for many, many years. We've never changed the design because it actually works perfectly if you're in the market to store your needles. Now, what we've done as well is I thought about it when I designed it, and I said, let me give you a nice quilted soft cushion above your needles. So at least that's protecting the needles in here. And it's a three-way fold. So when you're done, you've covered that. You've got a very generous Velcro in here, all matched up in color coordinated, and it's a perfect knitting needle case. So if you'd like, this works brilliantly, and it's a question of whether you use needles or you use circular hooks or something like that. We've got something for everyone here. So this is our CA190 is our style number on the website if you're doing a search on our homepage. And it is a fabulous bag for you to consider even as a nice Christmas gift now going into Christmas. So I'll leave you with this, and I'm going to put up the insert now for the circular needle bag. Okay, this is our circular needle bag. It's a little filing system for all your circular needles, and it does work extremely well. This came up to me as a design and an idea when I was in the US, and a lot of people asked me to create something for their circular needles. You know, it's quite a frustrating exercise to keep those needles all organized, and you do end up in a bit of a strife with it if you don't have the correct storage system for it. So this was something that they helped me design. It wasn't my idea at all. So for now, I just want you to know I've given you a little handle so that you've got somewhere comfortable to hold it. And this is, again, our usual generous Velcro, as you can see. You can hear it, in fact. And what I've got is 10 pockets in here. So I'm going to just do this. This is the first see-through pocket, the second one, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you've got 10 see-through pockets. You can fit as many as you need to. I just didn't have as many to fill in here to give you an example, but you can get the idea with what I've done. And the extra 2 pockets we've given you are behind this pocket where I've thrown in some patterns, and the same on this side. You might have stitch markers, you might have little tools, some threads, anything extra for your accessories that are required during your knitting, or you are welcome to store it in here. So in effect, we have 12 pockets in this bag, and when it's filled, you'll be surprised. I've seen them bulging. I mean, really, people have had 4 and 5 and 6 in each pocket, and it does work. Visually, I've got some yarn in here. I'm just trying to give you some sort of an idea of what happens with this. So when it's closed again, when you're done with it, it Velcros again perfectly, and you've got yourself a very nice circular needle bag. The style number is CA195 if you're looking, and remember, they are available to you on our current product range. The next product I'm going to have for you is our, hold on, is our crochet hook organizer, and the style number is CA241, and we're going to put it up on your screen so you get a visual of our insert for it. Again, I'm going to show you the bag. This is the closed appearance of the bag, the way it folds up, and it's quite small. It fits into your bag, your handbag, wherever you need to. It's perfect size for everyone. Now, what I've done is, this is again your generous Velcro. And what I've done here is given you 2 rows of your storage for your crochet hooks. And in here, I've given you a little pocket, another pocket up here. And what I did is behind, I saw another opportunity to give you a larger pocket. So I've just filled it with little items that gives you a bit of an idea that you do have access to a pocket behind. It's a full pocket here. You've got the 2 smaller ones above that. And then on this end, I've given you the full pocket again. So you can throw in your stitch markers, your tools. You might have large ergonomic hooks, anything that you want to fill in there. And in this case, I've given you 2 rows. So that's quite a generous allowance for all your hooks. You might have taller ones, you might have shorter ones, you might have those interchangeable ones. That works pretty well. And in this case, what I've done is all of these have been stitched along here. Recently, in fact, I think it was about 4 years ago, I was in Minnesota in the US, and I had a customer come up to me and say, I bought this bag from you about 9 years ago in Sydney, Australia, and it's the perfect crochet bag. I just couldn't live without it. I take it everywhere. And then she noticed on the table that we also had another version of a crochet hook bag, which was our ergonomic hook bag. She looked at both of them and she said, no, this will work perfectly. I generally have this type of hooks. That's what I use every day. But yes, recently with the changes, I do have a few ergonomic hooks that I've purchased. And I was sort of wondering, how am I going to fit them in here? Firstly, we know that these 3 would very comfortably fit in this pocket, if that's what you preferred. So here's it right here in front of you, if that's all you want. But she said, if anyone ever asks you, tell them, she opened her bag and showed me what she did. She just unstitched the lower layer of this bag, the pockets where the crochet hooks were stitched up, and she released the stitches, and she was able to get her hooks in here. She said, if I have a larger collection, I'll definitely do the same on the second pocket behind, or I'll extend this way. Either way, she said, this serves me perfectly for what I need because I use mainly the standard crochet hooks. And what we also did is gave you a cover out here, which is the soft quilted finish, a nice cushioned fabric, and that will prevent it from things from falling if you are folding it or just grabbing your bag or something. So in here, you've got 1, 2, a pocket behind in here at the back, as I showed you, 3 pockets. You've got 4. Often when I see crochet hook bags, I don't see pockets in there. It's just usually a little fold up, a wrap or something. So these are very functional, and that's what we hear every day, that the designs are functional. It works for everyone, and that's why we don't get rid of any styles, because there's no point reinventing a style just for the sake of it. If it's working, why change it? So in this case, again, I'm going to show you how it sort of closes up the bag. And you've got that Velcro again here. So these are a collection of your crochet hooks that you might use for many years. I know the bag will last that long. And someday when you're tired or you're finished with the crochet side of things in your life, you're welcome to give it to anyone, family members. And I know they'll inherit this sort of a bag with everything in front of them. It is a perfectly made crochet hook bag. Even I was surprised at the success we've had over this product particularly. And now the next product I'm going to introduce is our little new knitting tote that we've introduced about 18 months ago. I'll put the flyer up, the insert up for you so you can see the dimensions, and then I'll start demonstrating it. The style number for this particular tote is CA05 on our website, if you're looking. So it's a perfect one with a crossbody handle like this. It's got a lot of room in here if you're much taller. Really fit across your body. And if you're taking it on the train, on the subways, if you're traveling by bus, even if you're going to a footy game or anywhere you're traveling to, you can just carry this over your shoulder across your body, and this works fabulously. So it's made for even taller ladies, and someone like me probably wouldn't be able to use them at its full, but we've given you a lot of room. Just know that there's plenty in here for even a 6-foot person. So that works pretty well. Now I'm going to show you this pocket. We've got a pocket on the top that I filled with some yarn, just to give you a visual that you've got a pocket in here. It's tall enough for you to keep your needles if you just want them outside the bag for whatever reason. We've also put a fabric base at the end so that you don't have your needles cutting through any of the plastics as well. So it's been really thought out, this bag. It just didn't happen that way. I had a lot of knitters and tell me that, look, we prefer, in fact, originally this had the full plastic, and then they suggested that we put the fabric on it, which made a lot of sense to me. So now taking it back, I'm going to show you the side of the bag. So you've got, this is thick enough for you to keep a smaller project in here. And on the reverse side, again, you've got the fabric base. I've thrown in these items so you can sort of judge what you can put in here. You can keep some needles in here if that's what you prefer. So I'll give you an idea with the needles. I thought might be a good idea to. So if you've got any needles, so if you're just using it and you want to throw them out and just use them in the train or something, you don't have to put them in the bag. You can have them outside. So that's another idea for you. And now let's take you to the center of the bag. So in this case, we've given you 2 areas in here. This is for your needles, just a little pocket made of fabric, so nothing gets cut. There's no plastic in here. It works perfectly. In here, I've thrown a lot of yarn right till the bottom. I've actually just filled it with paper and anything else. But you do understand what I'm saying, that it's 2 pockets in here. This one was done for your needles particularly. And on this end, I wanted you to be able to be comfortably keeping a small project. It's not going to take a bulky one, but it was just meant for you to have a quick carry bag when you're traveling. And it does work as a little tote bag. And as I said, your hardware as well would be very good. You've got beautiful, and these are removable as well on both sides. And you've got the perfect length of a handle for you. And it's a fabulous little knitting tote. Beautiful gift for friends during this show and during this time of the year when someone does do a little bit of knitting. So now I'm going to the next product I will introduce is our larger knitting bag. I'll let that go up on the screen so you have a look at that. Okay, this is our larger knitting bag, and the style number, if you look on our website, is CA485. This is our premium knitting bag. Had it around for about 13 years now, and it's probably the all-in-one perfect bag if you want to sort of look at it from that point of view. It gives you all the options, and often when you're looking at knitting bags, you find, well, you don't have room for smaller items. It cannot be a multi-purpose bag. And that's when people come back and tell me this is the best knitting bag they've seen in design, functionality, and the hardware is excellent on all of it. It balances very well on your body as well. So it's a perfect bag. Now let me go back and show you in here. This is the external pocket, and what I've done is I've tried to fill it with needles, so you've got an idea that you can keep your needles in here. It's just an extra pocket to keep your straight needles in here. That's my point. So at this stage, I'm going to zip that back, and I'm going to show you the start of this bag. So we've got, so this is the cover. And then here, I've got 2 pockets in here. You can throw some yarn in there, other products. You can keep your patterns in here. You've got a full, now this is divided in the middle with a little piping in here. And again, if ever you feel you don't want to use this area and you want the bigger pocket horizontally, you can remove the stitching in this area. Feel free to do that. Be careful, but generally I've seen people do that. Now the next pocket I've got is, these are 2 at this stage, at this sort of level, and this is a larger pocket for you. So at this pocket level, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 pockets. And I did mention the one outside, the full length one, that's 6 till now, right? Let's just check that. So this is perfect area for all your accessories. Maybe you carry other craft items in there, but it does work when you're taking it to your friend's place with lots of items in there. And the next thing I'd like to show you is the internal of the bag, the main area. Now in here, I've got 6 pockets. I think you saw it on the insert as well. So you can This is where you can store your yarn, all your yarn. You've got 6 areas for you to keep your yarn in there. And in the middle of the bag, you can keep your project, your actual cardigan, sweater, anything you're making. It's perfect. That center area is large enough for it. And you've got all this for your yarn to put in, right? So that's the center of this bag, our premium knitting bag. And at the back, what I thought, I'll add another pocket. And this came from a customer who suggested it, that why not put your pattern books, your magazines. Often you're traveling, you just want to carry everything in one bag. I've seen people use it as a little diaper bag. They just think when they're traveling, they've got a perfect bag with lots of pockets. And in this case, I've just thrown some needles in there. So when you're looking at it where you can keep your pattern books, all your yarn, your project in the middle, all your craft accessories in the front, it's perfect. And this is the crossbody strap that you've got. And the balance is here because I've got one side, I've got one of this handle. On the opposite side, I've got this. So whenever you've got it across your body, I've noticed that it balances beautifully, doesn't sort of tilt over, and nothing really goes wrong with it. Everyone loves this bag. The style number is CA485. And if you've got any questions, do let me know. But I know you will enjoy this knitting bag if that's what interests you. So after this, I'm going to show you our project folder bag, which is style number CA540. I'll put that up on the screen so you can see the dimensions. Okay, now this is a project folder, and as you can see, there's someone who has embellished this bag with some borrow embroidery. You don't receive it like this. It's just a plain green cover for you here. And then the reverse side too. She's taken our project folder and done some embellishing on it, makes it look really nice, nifty style on it, and it personalizes the bag. I'm sure a lot of you who know our products know that everyone around the world is finding new ways every day to embellish these bags. They love the products. They're really soft, they're comfortable, they're lightweight. So in this case, I'm going to show you, this is the reverse side of the bag. It's all fabric. This is the window that you have, the see-through window. We've also got these little gussets just at this length over here on all sides with fabric, so nothing gets damaged in here. You've got enough width in here and depth in here to fill quite a bit without any issues. But, you know, as long as you're not overdoing it, it should work. And when I do this Velcro now, the only thing I know I will tell you is this does have a Velcro. And I know people who knit sometimes tell me, look, they really don't want any Velcros anywhere because it does damage the yarn. And I agree. This was never meant to be one of my knitting bags, but I found people do keep their little projects in here in whatever capacity they want to use it. So I've just filled it with little items to give you a space idea. Right. So this is wide enough. So if you're looking at this, it's got a lot of space in the middle. So it's just sometimes you have little projects, you want to keep it dust free, away from the cats at home, whatever, and it does work. So this is a perfect way to store it and put your project away and start your next project. So I think this is style number CA540, and it's our craft project folder. Okay. And after this, I'm going to go to our compact craft organizer, where I'm going to show you some time-lapse videos where it'll show you in the capacity of craft, and then under the fact that you can use it for your traveling or even at home to keep your jewelry and your makeup. As you know, our products are quite multifunctional. Out of the 38 products on our website, 17 have been identified perfectly for any kind of storage of makeup, jewelry, cosmetics, medications, and they are perfect gifts for everyone. So have a look at the insert first and then we'll start.
Hello, everyone. I'm Becky Goldsmith with Piece of Cake, and I want to show you the Yazzie Compact Organizer. This is a dandy little thing. Okay, so let me open it up. It has a very secure Velcro closure. It's not one of those little skinny things, very secure. The organizer opens to reveal one large compartment, two medium compartments, and two long narrow compartments. And this allows you a lot of flexibility in figuring out where you're going to put your whatever you're going to put in here. I loaded this up for English paper piecing. So these are some small hex units that are already ready to sew together. These are loose papers. Here I've got fabric ready to attach to the papers to get to the basted state and then sew together into the little flowers. And here's a collection of the little flowers. In here I've got my needle caddy and a pin cushion and my scissors and my glue and my thread to hold, to use to sew these together. It's dandy. I've got everything in here that I would need for hours of sewing fun. So you could use this for a sewing project, other kinds of sewing projects too. You could have your hand applique supplies or your hand piecing supplies, or if you're a machine sewer, you could have various accoutrements that go with your machine to carry with you. I really like that it opens flat because it makes it more portable to lay next to you, say on the sofa when you're sewing, or to lay on the table when you are working with a stitch group or in a classroom. It's nice for car travel too. So this is a nice compact organizer. And it says so right there. It's a great compact organizer. It's perfect to take with you in all of the places you want to take your sewing with you to sew. I hope you've enjoyed seeing what's inside, and may you have many happy stitches. Thanks for watching.
Okay, this is our project pouch, which is another little neat product that I want to share with you. The style number is CA490. It's quite a handy little one to carry small projects, maybe some English paper piecing, some beading. It's got enough pockets in there for smaller items. They make a great jewelry or a little makeup purse as a gift, a small gift idea for friends and family leading up to Christmas because it's practical. And I'm going to show you a couple clips now that'll take you through the craft version of this product, the way it's been used, and also how it's been used as a jewelry little makeup pouch. And we'll also show you a little video clip that'll complete our display of the project pouch, style number CA490. I'm going to show them our catalog. Hi, this is the next product I'm going to show, which is the last one for the day, is our ergonomic crochet hook organizer. I mentioned it earlier to you because what we've done is we've discontinued this product as of last year. And please don't for 1 minute think that it's because people didn't like it. There's nothing about our products that people don't like. We've got a 99% strike rate on design, because it does take me 18 months to go out there and show people, ask them their opinions, have lots of people test the products, and we end up with a perfect bag. But the problem we've got right now is we've got a warehouse in the US, in Europe, and in Australia. And to have 38 bags in 7 colors and supply them worldwide, you do have to start looking at the variety of bags. And each time I have this very hard decision to make as to which bag I'd like to sort of throw off the radar just for a couple years and maybe have reserved the right to bring it back at any point. This is one bag we had so much objection after we decided not to continue with it. And I knew that this year I would have had to bring it back later in the year. But because of the pandemic and just the fact that we're not traveling overseas, I figured, we'll just lie low, stick with our 38 products that we've got right now. And currently, this bag, we've only got 10 left in Australia in limited colors. And I've got 83 bags in the US that's left. And right now we're doing a 25% discount on this item only because we wanted to clear the warehouse of discontinued bags. When I bring them back, maybe next year if things improve, they all go back to normal pricing plus our standard annual increases. So in this bag, I'm going to show you firstly, it's got a little handle, not a very long one, just like a little handbag. And you've got 2 horizontal pockets in here. As you can see, I've got a few ergonomic hooks in there as well. I just fill things up to give you some sort of a visual. In this case, these are elasticized little slots for you. You can fill them with all your ergonomic hooks. This bag works for people who actually own a lot more ergonomic hooks than the standard ones, because I know everyone with arthritis, there's just been such a change with these bags. And in the recent years, everyone was looking for a bag that fitted the ergonomic hooks. We did have our crochet hook bags, but I thought, let's change the direction of that bag. We will give you a concentrated bag, like where you can concentrate on storing your larger hooks. And as you see, you've got the second page of the same in here. There's a lot of hooks in here. And on the fourth sleeve, I decided to put this area again where it's stitched, and you can put your standard hooks in here. So we've covered a lot of ground. In this, I've given you a large pocket, so you can keep your patterns, your stitch markers, a little scissors, some threads, whatever you need. So that's the pocket. These are your standard hooks, the old-fashioned hooks. These are all places for your ergonomic hooks. And you've got places here for your threads and other little items. So this bag, as I said, if you want it and if you like it, and I know it'll work because we have every intention of bringing it back when the world opens up again, because it does work. It's just that last year to make a quick decision on 4 or 5 new products we were introducing. And I thought, well, I'm in the quilting side, we work very well in the sewing quilting area. Let's drop one of the knitting products out there. So do have a look. As I said, 10 products in Australia, 83 bags in the US, both at 25% discount. And it's while the stocks last and the colors last. There's nothing more we can do for now till things change again. And we're not expecting any more stock of this till I decide to launch this bag again. So now I'm going to leave you with a couple videos where I want to show you how people are actually embellishing our bags. So it's important for you to see that a lot of our products are now being embellished worldwide. People pick them up and they decide to make it their own. They personalize the bags and they run a lot of classes all over the world. And look at our website. There's an inspirational area under the craft category. You'll see many, many, many ideas from top designers worldwide, as well as customers who constantly tell me that they have done some amazing and creative stuff on Yazzie bags. So there's quite a variety of them, but I want to show you this little video clip to give you the broad idea of how many bags and how beautiful everything looks. And after that, depending on the time, I'm going to run through our catalog as we've got it today. And do visit our website. And as I said, you're welcome to place your order after that. Thank you for your time.
Hi, this is Yazzie, the designer of the Yazzie Craft Storage Bags. I'm going to demonstrate one of our top quilting bags for you today, and the code is CA880. It's called the Quilter's Project Bag, and I designed it about 5 years ago when a lot of quilters came to me in Houston and said they'd like to discuss a design of one of our bags to make it more quilters related and something they find more functional for what they need. Bearing in mind, I'm not a quilter, a sewer, or even a crafter in any form, I was curious to hear how they wanted me to design this bag. So we all set up at the George Brown Convention Center and I started writing notes to myself, and basically they said they're going to take it sleeve by sleeve, pocket to pocket, and there were 5 ladies, quilters for many years, very experienced, who sat there and helped me. When I went to India to the factory, there were 2 of them who spent 2 days working with me long distance on FaceTime, etc., to be able to complete this bag. And it was the first effort and first design that has made this bag successful. I've never really had to adjust it because I did get a lot of help for it. There was nothing of what I thought my input in the bag. It was quilters who decided this will work for all of them. So let me explain the bag to you. Firstly, we gave you an external zipper where you might want to throw your phone in here. You might want to keep something personal, your set of keys, your car keys, when you're going to your classes. We've also given you a nice little handle that you can put over your shoulder. So that makes it very functional and convenient for you, and you can be hands-free when you're going to your classes, and that's important because if you're taking your sewing machine bag and you've got other items that you carry, and we all know how much you carry to your retreats and classes, this just works as a perfect bag. I don't think you need anything more, and most people tell me if you're taking more than what you've got in this bag, you shouldn't leave your home. It's basically everything you need, your pattern books, everything you need. So let's just look at it page at a time, and I will try and explain my thinking around it. It wasn't really my thoughts. As I said, they were quilters who suggested it. So in here, I've given you 3 horizontal pockets. The top section, I've actually divided it with a piping. And I always mention to everyone that should you decide this doesn't work for you and you want that extra room to be a full horizontal pocket, do not hesitate to unpick this section, and you will find that it'll work very well for you. In the second 2 sections, I've actually put gussets in both of these. So I wanted to show you that if I can fit this size of a crochet cotton in here, that should tell you the width and the stretch these pockets have with the little gussets. That's very important to know because then you can visualize your larger items. In this section, we've given you 2 A5 pockets. That's across the cover, the top cover, because quilters generally have slightly larger projects. They do not need what beaders need or sewing machine feet. They just want to be able to store various projects within a bag that they use. So I've given you 2 A5 pockets here. And in this section, we've given you the A4 size. So they're opposite each other. You can put your larger items, you can put a book, you can put your fabrics, and really separate all your projects that you need. And this will be the segmented or dissected more than this bag provides. They were very happy with the top section, giving them their room for their smaller notions and supplies. And then we went straight into larger pockets. Again, I've given you two A5 pockets. A4 pockets, and this is A5 pockets again. So when you look at this, in this last cover page, I've given you elasticated pockets to keep your markers, your pens, your tools. And under that, we've given you a fabric pocket. You can put sharper scissors or anything that you want that you just want out of the way. Again, here, we've given you a good size, two pockets with the piping in the middle that can be removed should you require that. So the elasticated pockets, the fabric pocket at the base, which is quilted, and you've got the two pockets, the horizontal pocket with the piping in the middle. Two A5s, A4, A4, A5, A5, A4, A4, A5, and a section again for your notions. The very big advantage of this bag and why quilters love it is when they go to classes, they have very little room to work with. So there's limited space, they got the machines, and there's lots of people at the retreats and classes. They love the fact that I was able to keep this as a center zipper in this particular style of the bag. So it's like a little filing system you have in front of you. You flip the pages this way and you access what you need. And on this side, you flip the pages and you access what you need. This works, it's very user-friendly, and people really enjoy it. They often tell me it's the best quilter's bag. I've got larger bags that fit your mat boards. I've come up with bags now for your block storage cases that include block storage cases. But if someone had to come to me at any show and say, which is your most popular bag for quilters, I definitely am going to start with this bag. It works. But then if you want, and if you feel that you want to fit your mat in there, then I'm going to suggest another bag. Then if you feel you want to put your 14 by 14 blocks, I'm definitely going to suggest another bag. But overall, this is the perfect quilter's bag for anyone starting up. And I'm not saying it's not used for other crafts, but when you look at the pockets configuration, it has worked for everyone. So it is CA 880. Do look it up on our website, and there's lots of videos in YouTube as well explaining this bag to you. Thank you. Hi, this is Yazzie, the designer of the Yazzie Craft Storage Bags. Today I'm quite excited to share with you our fabulous sewing machine mat. Often I've had people say that, you know, they just want something for the non-slip. They wanted something that they can access, take it to their classes. It's small, it's mobile, and most importantly, it offers the functions that one needs to be able to place their sewing machine on top of it. So the size that I designed was, as a closed bag, it's 17 by 21.5 centimeters, and it's 6.7 by 8.45 inches. The size opened, as you see it, it's 60 by 66 centimeters, and it's 23.6 by 26 inches. I'm going to take this opportunity to explain the features of this bag. So firstly, when I designed this bag, I made sure that we gave you proper zippers. So there's two little horizontal pockets. You've got the larger pockets. You've got a little pin cushion. And you've got a pocket behind it that you can have full functionality of it. And this way, at the end of your class, or even if you set up in your living room or your dining area, wherever you are at a retreat, when you're done, you can keep your notions, your bobbins, your threads, everything intact in the bag. You zip them up and you've got everything in there. You don't have to remove anything. Nothing's going to fall off because it's very protected. And when you're done, you just fold this bag on both sides here, and you can get that perfect fold, and we've given you a very generous Velcro that perfectly stays in your sewing machine bag. You can carry it and put it away in your sewing room after you're done in the dining area. This bag has become such a popular bag for anyone because you do need to keep your sewing machine on a non-slip pad. This is a beautifully quilted bag which has absolute fabulous grip on the table, and the fact that they all zip in pockets has been the highlight of this product. Often people say that these bags, they learn to make them in their classrooms as project bags. They often buy them anyway in craft stores, but none of them ever offer the zippers because they are difficult to put together. And I think this bag works for the price it is. It works fabulously, and you will find a lot of testimonials coming through on this particular bag, which is the CA 575, and it's our Yazzie sewing machine mat. Hi, this is Yazzie, the designer of the Yazzie craft storage bags. I'm going to share with you today the little trinket fold-up case that I've designed not too long ago. Sometimes when you're going away and you're taking it to your craft classes, you might need some needles, a few sewing machine feet. It's just enough for you to view everything, carry it, fold it up, and take it with you in some of our larger bags. So I thought giving you 6 perfect pockets, and these are all gusseted pockets. So to give you an indication, I've just placed some of these in there so you can see that they all fit inside, and this bag closes perfectly. You might want to embellish this bag. You might want to put a little trim in here. You might want to do some beading on the bags. They do work for embellishments as well, but I thought this became quite a necessity now for beaders who wanted little pockets just to keep their fine supplies in there. So I think this is a very functional bag as a one-off thing. I personally use this to keep my bits of jewelry, some rings, whatever I need as a little jewelry case. So it's just to show you that you can put your smaller items, some buttons and beads, and some pins and needles, and you will some safety pins. They're perfect for very small items. So I hope you enjoy that. Hi, this is Yazzie from Melbourne, Australia. I'm the designer of the Yazzie craft storage bags. Today I'm going to demonstrate 3 sets of pouches that we created, the Yazzie bags, and they complement all my larger bags. You can fit them in any of the bags that you need to. Often you're looking for just little loose pockets that you might want to carry your projects in. I personally, as a non-crafter, use some or many of them for my makeup, my jewelry, my medications, and in my handbag you might find 3 of them sitting with various items in there. So the choice is yours, and I do feel that it's something that becomes quite important even as a gift idea for friends, for your Kris Kringles, for birthdays. Every woman today needs a little pouch, and as we're getting older and we can't find things easily and they're not easily accessible, these pouches work brilliantly. So I'm going to start with the smallest set, which is CA 420. So I've given you 2 rectangle pouches that can fit in any of my bags, and the dimensions are 20 by 14 centimeters, and it's 8 by 5.25 inches. Now these are just 2 of them. They're 2 craft pouches. They can be makeup pouches. You can put your jewelry in there. They're quite multifunctional in the way they're used. And I will repeat the code. It's CA 420. The next set of pouches I've introduced are a set of 3, and these are of various sizes. So I definitely would like to tell you that the sizes, when these actually get nestled into each other, so you've got a total one pouch in there, and that's 17 by 17 centimeters, and it's 6.75 by 6.75 inches. So you've got 3 of them used in whichever way you want to, and they come nestled in each other, and that makes a lovely little idea that is multifunctional for your craft and your jewelry accessories. The third item I'd like to present is our Notions 3-piece pouch, and that is CA510. In this particular set, I tried to go again in a group of pouches that get nestled and come in packed in each other, and giving you 3 various sizes that you might want to keep your larger projects in. You might want to keep other notions and supplies. This might be great for your threads. The choice is yours. They're actually just empty pouches that you can use, and when you do take them away, you can see what you've got in your classroom and put them all away. So this is a CA510. It's the Notions 3-piece pouch. Then you've got the CA405 again. They're slightly smaller sizes. And then you've got the CA420, identical sizes. It's a 2-piece set, and they both are rectangle pouches. I'm sure you're going to find lots of uses for them, and all your stitching and supplies will fit beautifully in them. Thank you. Hi, this is Yazzie, the designer of the Yazzie Craft Storage Bags. Today I'm going to demonstrate the CA610, and that is the Deluxe Craft Storage Organizer. The dimensions are 16 by 31 by 15 centimeters, and it's 6.25 by 12.2 by 6 inches. I designed this many, many years ago, I would say about 14 years ago, when I was looking to create something to hold your jewelry, particularly. I'm not a sewer, and I definitely thought there was a gap in the market for the perfect jewelry storage idea, and that's when I designed this bag. If you look at this particular pin out here, this can hold your rings, so we just put our rings through here. And what I did, I created 8 pockets, smaller ones, for your earrings, anything, your fine jewelry, anything you need in here. And that seemed to work for me. But today it's become such a popular craft storage bag. And so you've got 8 little pockets in here, and we've given you a horizontal pocket under there. And the idea is I use every area of the bag to be able to present to you so you can maximize your usage and really enjoy full functionality. Where there's a space, Yazzie will definitely give you a pocket, and that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. So we do maximize, try and provide a lot of functionality as we're going, and as you can see, this is a top handle for you to hold the bag. Now I'm going to unzip the lower section of this bag to show you the full pockets, the sizes, and for you to visualize what I've been able to get in the bag. So this is your horizontal pocket, that's a full pocket, and in this bag I've given you 4 full pockets. That should allow you to put your larger items in here. The reason I didn't divide them is because you did have plenty of them on the top section. This gives you more opportunity. This little bracelet bar, this was actually meant to be for your watches and bracelets, but most people here use it for as a pin cushion. So that works fabulously. You can remove it if that's what you don't want. You can put your threads and stuff in here. You can also now put this back and keep your pin cushion in here. So again, you've got 4 full pockets in here. You've got the little pin cushion. You've got the second horizontal pocket here, and then you've got the top section the way I showed it to you. So there's many, many pockets, a lot of versatility in this bag. I've seen people tell me they're the best sewing machine foot storage bag. A lot of beaders and jewelry makers worldwide would tell me, my word, this is amazing for anyone doing jewelry. They have their little beads and their little notions in here, and it just works for them. So this is the CA 610, and we do offer them in 7 colors.